So I was thinking, how many of you come from peer universities? Okay, so out of about 30, about 5 come from the university sector, right? The rest come from outside the university sector. That's a good insight into careers and career pathing and decision making about coming to universities, right? So I want to begin by again just expressing appreciation to the executive deans and the directors and the representatives of our deans who have joined us here. The number of colleagues are not able to make it for one reason or the other, but we normally come here in full numbers to really shake hands with you, to warmly welcome you. So it's not just the Vice-Chancellor coming here to welcome you. It's a whole collective of leaders who are coming to say to you, we extend a warm welcome. And at the same time, we wish you extraordinary success in this next stage of your career path. And that we're confident that you are going to make extraordinary contributions as we continue as the University of Johannesburg this journey of establishing here, in line with our vision, an international university of choice that is firmly anchored in Africa and that is at the same time dynamically shaping the future. Dynamically shaping the future through the men and women who we nurture and graduate at this university, through the knowledge that we produce and its application or its presentation in journals or in public scholarship or in commercial applications. We're confident that you're going to be an important part of this very important journey. And it's a journey that's very important not only for us here at UJ, but it's a journey that's extremely important for our metro, for the province, for the South African nation, for the continent, and for the world. I say that because the University of Johannesburg stands out amongst the crowd. It stands out because of the extraordinary demand out in the public domain to get into the University of Johannesburg. From a point of merger institution that had an enrollment of close to 44,000, we went down to 41,000 because everybody was asking, who's this new kid on the block? What is its project? What's its identity? What defines it? And since then, our enrollment has grown to 49,000. And that's really where we would want to keep it at. And so last year, we had 20-odd thousand more applicants wanting to come into the University of Johannesburg as first-year students. In fact, we had close to 60, what's the number again, Kunta? Applicants last year, total applicants?
No, it is close to 90,000 actually.
So close to 90,000 men and women, parents and teachers who stand behind them, sought to gain entry into the University of Johannesburg for some 10,000 odd places. So that gives you an indication of the huge expectation in the public mind that this university is a university that stands out amongst the crowd and that it's a university that can influence who I become. It can influence my station in life. It's quite commendable that the university, that its graduates get a job within, 95% of them get a job within 12 months. Andre, if I was to pick on you, your graduates, most of them have a job before they graduate.
Most of them, around 90% have a job before they graduate.
Saki?
90% over 6 months.
Say that again?
98% within 6 months.
98% of our graduates in the health sciences faculty within 6 months, 90% before they graduate.
Yeah, in education, about 80% have jobs before they graduate. And within a year, most of our students have jobs.
So most of them are in demand out there, right? I don't even want to pick on you, law, Patrick, but similar picture?
Yes, very much so.
Okay, I know that engineering is a bit more complicated, right? It's about 70% or so within 12 months, and it's got a lot to do with completing work integrated learning. And that, by the way, also influences our graduation rate.
They're not technically qualified yet.
Mm-hmm.
They've not done their in-service training.
Okay, okay. And I'm looking at you, Amanda.
But I want to add something to that, and that is in our faculty we contribute to a very important segment. So a lot of the students go out for experiential training or then post-graduation training, and in 2 or 3 years they start their own businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to the entrepreneurial segment, we make a very important contribution, which we are very proud of.
That's great. That's art, design, and architecture. Daniel?
94% of 2,103 graduates.
Say that again?
94% of 2,103 graduates within 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Faculty of
Amanda?
Economic and Financial Sciences is also more or less 90%.
So I think the picture that you're getting from some of our deans and vice deans and reps of our deans is that actually the investment that we make in this university now together with yourselves in nurturing extraordinary talent is actually resulting in 95% of them getting a job within 12 months, most of them having a job before they graduate. And it does say something then about the University of Johannesburg and its people, you, us. It says something about our determination that the 11,400 graduates that walk the stage each year at UJ, that those 11,400 odd graduates are in demand, and as we speak, they make a difference. And so in these 9 years of UJ, we have graduated now close to 90,000 men and women who are influencing South Africa, the region, the continent, and the world. We have alumni who go way back beyond the 9 years. From Rand Afrikaans Universiteit, from Technikon Witwatersrand, from Vista University, our legacy institutions who are making a significant difference in the lives of their communities, in their professional lives, and across the globe. And it's for that reason that last year we received many accolades as UJ. One of those accolades was the university being ranked in the top 4% of universities worldwide. So out of 16,500 universities that are considered, we're not counting 20,000 universities that don't really, so we're only looking at 16,000. Let me not say anything about those universities. Only look at 16,500 universities. And to be top 4% of your class as a new kid on the block is pretty good, isn't it? How many of us were in the top 4% of your class? I'm not asking you to put your hands up, right? But it's a big deal, right? Top 4% of your class, worldwide in this instance, not just your class there in what's it outside Toyando, Mbilwi, not just Mbilwi. We're talking now, not even nationwide. We're talking worldwide. And then in the BRICS rankings as well, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. So in that economic bloc, 6,200 universities. And to find ourselves ranked at number 61. So top 1% in the BRICS nations. Again says something We didn't begin this project of UJ because rankings was our focal point. No. It was a brick by brick. Sweat, blood, tears, passion, energy, highs and lows. It's that dynamism that brought us to that point where we said, let us see where we sit in the community of global universities. And so the university is making waves, not only here, not only on the continent, but globally. It's making waves. It's making waves such that President Barack Obama chose UJ to come and address a Pan-African Young African Leaders Forum. Okay, we're not going to say anything about the interpreter at Madiba's memorial service. Yeah, but the fact that President Barack Obama chose to come to UJ also says something. Could have chosen Wits. Could have chosen Dar es Salaam University. Could have chosen University of Lagos. You know, I'm just going around. Could have chosen University of Cairo. Chose UJ to come and make an important statement and to engage with young African leaders across the continent. So it says something. It says something about the university that you've chosen to join. This morning, as I was gathering myself, my wife says to me, well, yesterday I met with my professors in the Faculty of Management, and one of the professors says, your husband really demands a lot from us. And I didn't know that it goes all the way down. And I didn't know that, this is how I'd wake up this morning being told, hey, your professors are saying to me, communicating to me that your expectations are too high. So I mentioned that with great care that
I'm in trouble.
I mentioned that with great care because it appears as if, not appears, I think that, let's put it more positively, that we're all driven. We're all passionate. We're all passionate about establishing here an outstanding institution. We're all passionate, therefore, and we're driven. Nothing is going to stand in our way to get where we want to be. Collective level, leadership level, individual level. Professor, PA, security officer, gardener, administrator, lecturer. Nothing is going to stand in our way. That at least is what has brought us to this point. What's brought us to this point is a deep desire not to be a wannabe university. It's an important dimension as well. We don't want to be a Harvard. We don't want to be a UCT. We don't want to be a Wits. We want to be the University of Johannesburg that sits at the pulse of this metro, that sits at the heart and core of this continent. In 5-8 years' time, we would wish to be known as we drive towards 2025. New plan that was approved by our council at the end of last year, UJ 2025. So we drive towards that. We continuously ask ourselves the question, what is uniquely different? What defines us as UJ, as opposed to a wannabe university? What What really is remarkable about us? What stands out? And so we can trot out, I'm sure, things. But this is an ongoing journey of discovery, of definition, of meaning making, of projecting ourselves into the public space, and of being known as an institution that's dynamic, diverse, cosmopolitan, embracing, that's seen as a bridge between poverty, the underclass, and prosperity. A university which brings in to its first year class almost 20% of that first year class young men and young women who come from our poorest communities, as signified in the kind of school, tier 1 or tier 2 schools, coming from the poorest. But also a place where the middle classes of Mzansi and the upper classes, almost 40% of the so-called upper class, and the rest from the middle classes, where they also see possibility and opportunity, black and white, straight and gay, where they see this is their place. South African, African. Congo, Zimbabwe, India, South Korea, Canada, Germany. I'm just picking on some countries where our international, 2,500 international students come from, where they see that's the landmark institution, that's the lighthouse. If you're looking for any opinion, any scholarly position, approach, reflection that presents Africa, UJ. And so a deep desire in that 2025 plan is for us to establish UJ as the epicenter of Pan-African intellectual and scholarly inquiry. That's one of the things, but it can't be the only thing, of course, that defines us. And so as we go forward into the period into 2025, what sits top of our game is an absolute desire, absolute pursuit of global excellence and stature, with a unique UJ contribution to what that means. So yes, there are universal dimensions of what it means to be a place of global excellence and stature, but it doesn't mean that you become a copy of another university. Doesn't mean that you become a copy of another university. So because we sit at the pulse and the heartbeat of Africa's economy, and because we're so inclusive, because we're so cosmopolitan, because we are driven, because we're energetic, because of what we've accomplished in the period up until now, accomplished far beyond our own expectations. Just to pick on something. The fact that our first year undergrad class of, as I said, 10,500 or so first years, the fact that out of them 81% plus completed their modules on time last year, given the hallmarks, the nature of our public and private schooling, but in particular our public schooling, is something quite remarkable. Massive shift, not, as I say, to grade 13, but from grade 12 to university. Massive shift for us to achieve an 81% success. Not so long ago it was 67%. It's extraordinary. And this is because of the absolute commitment of the leaders and of the staff of this university to ensuring that when we say we embrace and we're inclusive, it doesn't mean we take your money and we run. Doesn't mean we take your tuition fees and we leave you to sink or swim. That is one of the defining features of UJ. Considerable investment of resources, of people, of effort. And yet the university's research has grown extraordinarily at the same time. It's extraordinary how we're able to balance these things. Although the deans continually remind me, hey, we're struggling to hold balance here. We're struggling. It's extraordinary that we've increased our research footprint domestically and globally 300%. Okay, to triple, right? Let me get it right. To triple something is a 200% increase, right? So to increase your research footprint globally, domestically, 200%, meaning tripling it in these 8 years, is extraordinary. Grown our graduate output from 10,300 to 11,400 is extraordinary. And that is a testimony. That's a testimony that we are here at UJ able to turn great ambitions and ideas into plans, into results. I think if I was to leave you with one thing, it's probably that thing, that strategy is one thing. Strategy execution is something else. Come to UJ, there is evidence that we don't just dream big. We focus, we determine priorities, we put together plans, and we're driven to accomplish those plans. So last year for us was an extraordinary year. Absolutely extraordinary. And I've shared some of these important accomplishments in headline terms with you only. I should say that the university then continues also to sustain its number 2 brand position amongst universities in South Africa, amongst young people. It's pretty important. Displacing UCT is something else. It is probably the job of another 50 years for UJ. Because the gap between number 2 brand and number 1 brand is a bit of a gap. But as you know, UCT has built this brand over 100 years. For us to have displaced a WITS, a UP, a Stellenbosch, who can we name as well? UKZN. Well-established brands. To have displaced them consistently over the last 5 years as the number 2 brand. Even when we were only as young as 4 years old, we were number 2 brand amongst young people. It tells us something. Our challenge is to not disappoint ourselves, but in particular not to disappoint these men and women who choose UJ. So when they choose us because of what they see, a place of dynamism, of energy, of passion, of we matter, let us not disappoint them. In fact, let's inspire them. And let's help them along their journey in our different roles that we play in this university. As I say, from arriving at the gate or arriving on the telephone in your office, right? The gardens, the conditions of our buildings and facilities, our branding and communication and marketing, our student support services, our academic support services, the core academic project in the university. Let's inspire them. Let's in fact lift them onto our shoulders so that they can accomplish far more than they had bargained for when they chose to come to the University of Johannesburg. And so the year ahead signals again that we continue to have more appetite, or shall I say appetite to do more. And so one of our biggest projects this year, groundbreaking project, is to embed technology firmly into undergraduate teaching and learning, beginning this year with first years. By the time we hit the second semester of this year, the tablet or notebook will be integral to undergrad teaching and learning, and so we will phase it in over the next 4 years fully into undergrad training. This project has been noted. It's been taken note of by many, including one of the exciting outfits called Apple, who want UJ to be their flagship Africa project in respect of the use of technology in teaching and learning. And so it's an exciting time for our academics who stand in front of first year classes. It's an exciting time for these, especially the younger men and women. We have older men and women also come into the first year class, but especially the younger ones. Many of them come from an environment in which this thing is in use. And they come to university and it's old school. Hopefully we can bring old school and new school together in the exciting days, months and years that lie ahead for us. So, important work, of course, continues on our Fontaine Campus, where we did not reach our objectives, and I say that because Professor Sina was not here. I think the youngest dean in the country at 31, Dean of Engineering. He kind of tongue-in-cheek said, I thought it was a bit cheeky, but he said tongue-in-cheek, okay. And I smiled wryly. He said tongue-in-cheek, I never plan for delivery in January, Andre. When there's a project to be implemented, I plan for delivery during the course of the year. End of first quarter or term, end of second term, end of third term, because that is extra capacity that I add on. It is not capacity that I require to keep my business going and to showcase, my outstanding work. And of course, Professor Swart I'm picking on because as Dean of Health Sciences, he relies heavily, like two other deans as well, but he in particular relies heavily on this Fontaine Capital project to be a showcase, because he's consolidating health sciences on that campus. And here we come, tail between the legs. In January, we try and push the contractor left, right, and center, and then the contractor doesn't, what is the word? Is economical with the truth. Doesn't give us real facts, right? To say, actually, plan D is not going to work. Let's go for plan X. And then, of course, you have parents and students and staff who are absolutely irate. And who's in front? It's Andre, who's to take the flak. And so we are really focused on getting this project done and dusted. We are hopeful by end of February, but near.
Hopefully still there.
So the Fontaine project is critical for us from the point of view of inner city development. I should just give, and I'll stop in a moment, I should just give you some insight. It was about 6-7 years ago, if I recall, Andre, 6-7 years ago, we undertook this investigation into whether to consolidate our campuses here in Auckland Park, apart from the Soweto campus, where we invested close to 600 million rands, and it's a landmark campus now. So we asked questions, hard questions, about whether we should not just pack up, mothball if we can't sell it, but hopefully sell Fontaine Campus and build a new campus on top of Bunting Road. And we weighed this up. This is to allow health sciences and engineering to consolidate closer because they want two different campuses. And I think if I remember the numbers were close, between 2 and 3 billion.
Just over 2 years.
Just over 2 billion to establish this campus, landmark campus. Of course, we didn't have 2 billion. And then, of course, who's going to buy a downtown campus for 500 million? And even if you get 500 million, you're still short, 1.5 billion between friends. Anyway, it was a serious investigation, detailed investigation. And in the end, we took a decision that it's not viable, it's not possible for now, and therefore it's important for us to make a contribution to inner city development. And hence the decision to invest close to 500 million rands in the development of the Fontaine Campus, which now allows then for the consolidation of health sciences on the campus, but not in the ideal manner that we had hoped and prayed for, but were not able to accomplish or to achieve. And so Landmark Campus is under construction, under further development, under construction, down in Fontaine, and it will be a campus that we'll all be extremely proud of. I think that those are really the main issues I wanted to share with you, and to say that welcome. We are extremely delighted, extremely pleased that you chose us. You chose us for your individual reasons. And I'm sure that those individual reasons, when they are aggregated, when they connect with each other and they connect with the rest of us in the university, that it is going to spark not only new life and new possibilities into this university through your presence and through you becoming a part of us, but that you are going to have great joy, great fun in this University of Johannesburg. Not everything is always rosy, you know that, right? It always looks greener on the other side. So you've made your choices with your eyes open. We can't promise you that everything is going to be as perfect as you believe that they would be. But then again, why would you join us if you're not challenged? If you don't wish to be challenged? We require you to challenge us, to, do what Professor Sina did to me. And I smiled wryly, but I said, okay, good point, make a note about that. In future, Andre, we will not do this kind of thing. We will plan. Hopefully this development here on this campus was a good example of planning for delivery in the second semester. So yes, that's what I mean. Send us notes, drop us a note. We do read mail. We are modern managers, I promise you, all of us. We're responsive. So drop us a note, if there's something that bothers you. Because, and I conclude, because we really make every effort to give life and meaning to our values that you may have come across. We try our best, but of course in life everything doesn't work perfectly. It just doesn't, it's not like that. Last year, as much as we had highs, we had lows. To have a young student kidnapped by a fellow student on campus, and to get off campus, as this young man did. But there was somebody looking after us, over us, because within 3 hours this young woman was found. Through extraordinary intelligence. Was found somewhere in El Dorado Park or somewhere. But that incident also, it takes you down into the depths of your being. And it challenges you. It challenges your systems. It challenges your work. It challenges how we do our work in the university. To have a young woman not on our Soweto campus, of our Soweto campus, captured, kidnapped. To this day still missing. On her way to campus. Kidnapped, disappeared, gone. It takes you down. It takes you down. And so you have these high moments. Wow, number 61 in BRICS, ranked around 600 worldwide. And then your knees go under because there are things that we can do differently. But it's a warning. I always say it's a warning sign. It's a warning sign. This year, the other day, we had a hijacking, probably from Coronation or somebody, chasing down. And at this corner here of University and Kingsway, the residents there, Sophia Town. So these young people, first years, were, of course, great fun, right? Crossing the road. And the next thing, there's this man being chased by police, smashes into them. It's a message. It's something that, it's a signal that worse will happen if you're not on your toes. Just Saturday, I get a phone call from my son, who's at another university in Cape Town, first year. He says, "Dad, I need to talk to you. My best friend, first year like him, she's just been raped next door, inside her residence." So these are things that really pull you down. But it is how you recover. It's how you rise up again. And so you're going to be challenged to the core of your being. You're going to be challenged to the core of your being in different ways in your different roles. And I'm just sharing how I've been challenged in the past year, of very low, deep lows and highs. But it's how we bounce back from adversity. It's how we bounce back. It's not the fact that we bounce back. We have to bounce back. It's how we bounce back. It's how we re-examine, how we re-evaluate, how we look systematically at things. And emotionally, of course. But how we look rationally, systematically at things, rethink things, and build again. Build again. And I offer you then, finally, those 4 values, because they may help you along the journey. We always seek conversation out. So conversation is an important value of the university. We always engage in conversation to find shared solutions forward. So have a look at that, at what the words, the symbolism that we attach to this issue of conversation. We're not a factory. We're not a mine. We're a place of people. We're a place where we combine professional and support skills and capital with intellectual capital. And so conversation sits critically in that space. But we don't just do conversation because it's good. We also do conversation because we are in a constant process of reimagining, an alternative future, an alternative set of solutions, a unique way of being, of becoming, and of being who we are. And so a second important kind of value with many symbols around it, words or symbols, is this idea of imagination. But this is a place of imagination. It's not a factory. It's not a production line. It's not a mine. Those are ones that come immediately to mind because our metro has been built on mining, of course. So mine's the first damn thing that comes to mind. So imagination, look at that. We challenge ourselves all the time. And we do all of these things so that we can continuously regenerate ourselves, reconstitute ourselves, generate new passion, new energy. When we're down, we bounce back. When we're high, we are humble. We don't jump to heavens. We are humble. We embrace our accomplishment. We celebrate. We know that nothing worth it is accomplished without effort. It's a well-known observation that was so well put by Barack Obama at Madiba's memorial service. But we add to that. We say with extraordinary effort comes extraordinary results. And finally, all that we do, we make every effort. We try our very best, even when we fail sometimes. All of these things that we do, we search ourselves all the time so that what we do has an ethical foundation. It's a foundation that's informed by the pursuit of the highest values that underpin who we are and what we do. And we do so, by the way, in a sea of corruption, in a sea of unethical conduct, in a sea of faltering, failing public institutions. Whether it's the NPA that's floundering, or whether it's our intelligence services that are being used to fight personal battles, or whether it's our police system that is so thoroughly corrupted. And all I can say, read up a bit on Mexico. Just read up on Mexico and how the drug wars has corrupted every institution of state in Mexico. And understand why in the last 8 years or so, the war there has resulted in almost 40,000 people being killed, slaughtered every day. People are being slaughtered. So, let's not allow this institution to flounder. Let's build this institution together. Let's build it so it can be a lighthouse, so it can be a point of reference. Let's continue this, and many thanks, and all of the very best in your journey at UJ. Don't just stick around for 6 months. Stay the course. Yeah, stay the course, and let no one and nothing, no laws, no rules, let no one, no rule, nothing, nobody, nothing stand in your way. Stand in your way. Nothing, no one remove the light that defines you as you pursue your ambitions together with us in this fine university.